Welcome everyone to the last show of Hypnosis, Facts and Fiction. Tonight we're going to deal with the subject of regression. We're going to start off by talking with Mr. Noel Delcourt, the president of the Hypnologist Association of Quebec. And I'd like to know a bit about your association and if you can tell us what your main goals are.
The main goals of the association are to regroup people in French and in English, professionals in their field that want to use hypnosis as a tool to help people to go sometimes deeper into their to the root of their problem and deal with emotion and stuff like through regression. So the main goals of the association are also to protect the public and to get the public aware that we exist and to use more and more services.
And what can an individual expect when they call your office?
When they call our office, they can expect to get support while looking for a school, looking for people teaching self-hypnosis, as I've been doing for these 6 shows there, and also to get in touch with a professional therapist in their region, wherever it is in Quebec.
And well, I mentioned that we're going to be talking about regression today with our different guests, and can you tell us what your opinion is about regression and hypnosis?
Yeah, regression is a tool that helps a person to go back into childhood traumas and liberate whatever emotions are there that you cannot contact on a conscious level. So it's not necessarily we don't necessarily wish to do regression at every time that we meet a person, but it is a fact that it's very useful and used often.
Is it difficult for a person to regress into their past, or?
It depends at what time into the crisis the people come. Well, of course, there are people that are very easy to go under, and there are some people that resist those hypnosis to a certain point. You know, they're afraid of what they might find. Frightened. So, and regression is not something that you can play with, as a matter of fact. So this is why the Hypnologist Association of Quebec is trying to get more and more of these professionals that work together and to help people go a little faster in their routine of therapy whenever there needs to be one.
Right, and since people are usually, the big factor is they're afraid of dealing maybe with someone that's not a professional, by dealing with your association, they can feel confident that they're dealing with that.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, now we're going to look at what people on the street think of, well, what their answers are to this week's question.
I believe it is. I believe strongly that it is, and perhaps even more vividly than the first time.
Well, I read about that, but I'm not sure if it's true.
I tend to believe that we don't really forget anything. I mean, it's all stored in there. It's just a matter of accessing the information. And I guess hypnosis, to a certain amount, removes certain barriers and certain walls we keep inside ourselves, and then it allows us to peer inside it and let it out.
I'm a little bit more skeptical about that. I'm not too sure. I've heard some cases where, you know, the hypnotist suggests to the people what they remember, so I don't know, I'd have to hear more about that.
I think you have to be careful with that, because childhood memories have also got a lot of new baggage added onto them. So you can add in, your mind I think can add in to those things from your present day experiences or as you've grown up. So they might be clouded. I don't think that it's 100% accurate as far as to give you a perfect picture of what happened in childhood, no.
I have never tried it before, but it's possible. Yeah, using technology, I think it's possible. If you have a smart doctor, he can make you go back in time and remember what you had done in your childhood. Yeah, it's possible.
I'm sitting with Dr. Hava Perecowicz, who's a metaphysician and hypnotherapist. Hello.
Hello.
Can you tell us a bit what metaphysics means?
Sure. Metaphysics is a branch of physics. The word meta in Greek means above, beyond, and after, and physics means nature. Therefore, metaphysics is the science of spiritual psychology and natural philosophy, and the focus is on the philosophy of being.
And what's a metaphysician then?
Well, a metaphysician is first of all a person that practices metaphysics, and metaphysics is based on the belief that there is only one mind in the universe, and every part of creation is an extension of that one mind. Metaphysics answers the questions of who am I, where did I come from, where am I going, and what is my mission in this lifetime. And in the practice of metaphysics, we practice hypnosis, we practice meditation, counseling, behavior therapy, and spiritual guidance.
And can you tell us why you choose hypnosis in conjunction with metaphysics?
Well, when I started to use meditation in my own life, I was amazed at the power of the mind. And I was amazed at the results you got and the things you could actually hear if you sat in silence. And so I explored more into hypnosis and found it to be the most effective and quick tool to reach to a core of any problem. And so I was fascinated and decided that I was going to go and work in this field. And then I met Noel, and that was very encouraging.
Okay. And can you tell us a bit about regression therapy?
Yeah. Regression therapy is a form of hypnosis where we regress a person to an earlier time or space in their life. It could be at any age. And the purpose for that is not just to play games like people come and say, well, regress me, I want to know what I was in past life. That's not the purpose. But what happens in regression is when a person relaxes and goes back in time, their subconscious mind will lead them to the event or the memory that they need to experience that is connected to their problem at present. And so by regressing them, they're accessing the memories and the storehouse of all their feelings, emotions, experiences, and memories, and they're able to understand them better. And so they can take actions and make changes.
And what's your opinion about regression therapy from your own personal experience? Have you ever tried it, or?
Well, I've been fascinated with this, and I love doing regression. I find it very, very effective in my own practice, and I find that it is very different from symptomatic programming. You don't always need to do regression. If someone wants to stop smoking, it's not really important how he felt at age 3.
Exactly.
So, but I find it extremely effective and very rewarding. And it's rewarding not just for the client, but for me as a therapist, because I go through the journey of their life and I learn many things. I find it fascinating.
And can you tell us, like, can you give us an example of, like...
Oh, yeah, I have a few examples that are amazing. I'll begin with the first one. A man came to me, he was in his early 30s, and he suffered from anxiety, some form of anxiety. And he's had it for about 25 years of his life. And so we regressed, me and him, into his early childhood. And as we were going through the journey, I began to understand where the anxiety was coming from. And I had let him go through many experiences, relive them, feel them. And when he came out of trance, we talked about it, and it was miraculous.